what's up, everyone? Welcome to the Sibling Soapbox Podcast. My name is Tristan Venture.
Hello, everybody, and my name is Heather Evans. We are the brother and sister team of the Sibling Soapbox. Welcome today to our special guest, Pierce. He is my son.
Hello.
Hey, Pierce. Welcome. Welcome to the
Hi.
Sibling Soapbox Podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for having me and not forcing me to do this at all.
Yeah, so we're here with Pierce today. He is a member of the Gen Z, otherwise maybe known as Zoomers. Is
I
that
don't
is
think
that
people
right,
call
Pierce?
them that anymore. I don't
Oh,
hear
okay.
that anymore. That was like big in like maybe 2020, 2021, but I don't really hear that term anymore. No.
Okay, good to know. So we do not use the term Zoomers, but we can still use Boomers.
So
for the boomers.
offensive. Yeah, that's fine, but don't call us Zoomers. We will not be happy.
Yes, Gen Z. Yeah, I believe it's just the alphabet soup of generations, labeling of generations.
Yeah.
But as a Gen Zer, well, what is your opinion of Gen Xers like us?
I mean, I feel like they're the ones that no one really talks about. I mean, they're called what is it, like the forgotten generation, or I don't remember what the exact term is, but it's something like that. Like, I just feel like they don't even have like a nickname or anything. They're just Gen X.
It's
Aw.
true. Yeah, the lost generation.
The lost generation, that's what they're called.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know any like stereotypes about Gen Xers at all, which is saying something.
Oh, interesting.
We'll
What
teach
about
you.
boomers?
Today, we'll teach you.
Oh, okay. I'll get to learn all about Gen X.
Kidding.
What about boomers?
I mean, for the most part, I guess they're just seen as like old and out of date, and just like not really with it, you know? Like that's the whole thing with like the whole meme with people saying like, okay, boomer, that's pretty much just you're too old to understand, like that sort of thing.
Okay, to start off, I just have a question for you guys I wanted to ask. If you could live during any point in time, past, present, or future, any point in history, is there a preferred time that you would like to live? Say like during the Egyptian era or maybe during the Wild West. Heather, what about you? Is there a period of time that you would love to have lived in?
Yeah, I think being the independent woman that I am, independent yet a little bit traditional, I think a good time for me would have been the 1920s, like the Roaring 20s. Could you not totally see me as like a flapper girl? No, but in all seriousness, like I think that was a time when it was after the war and women were starting to break the mold a little bit on some things. They were entering the workforce a little bit more, cutting their hair to not be in that tradition, like getting rid of the corsets and starting to kind of be a little more independent and not so traditional in things and not afraid to have some fun and go out and dance and do a little drinking during prohibition. Not that I want to drink out there, but yeah. So 1920s for me would have been good. Pierce, let's ask you that question. At what point in history could you see yourself living?
That's a hard one. I mean, I think that would be interesting to live in some time periods, but like, would I really want to? Because like, I think the main thing for me is I think I'm fine with just living in the present now because we have so many things that they didn't have back in like other periods of history, like in terms of rights and whatnot. I think that would probably be my best answer. I'm fine with where we're at right now in terms of living. I mean, even though it can be hard at times, I think the conditions that we have now are something that I don't think I want to give up for anything.
Oh,
That would probably be my
That's
answer.
good. Good to know.
Even in the current climate of political goings on?
Even then, I feel like, I don't know, it might just be my sort of like worldview that even if things are bad, doesn't mean that everything's bad. Like, I can still enjoy life even though there's a bunch of horrible shit going on in the world. Like, I just kind of taking it day by day is what works for me. But yeah, even politically, I think that the conditions are right to fix sort of the things that have been done to create these conditions. That's my hope, at least.
Okay.
That's great. That's a very optimistic outlook. I love that.
Yeah. Tristan, what about you?
For me, I would say the future. I think I'm just an optimist and I'm always looking forward to the future. And that could be tomorrow, that could be 10 years from now, 50, 100 years from now. I don't, foresee us, the doom and gloom of the apocalypse. I think we're going to figure this out and make this world better and make our lives better. That's my hope. And I think we're going to get there. So the
I like
future.
it. The future.
That's an interesting response. You wouldn't be worried about anything like going wrong possibly? Because at least with the past, you could know what happened. But with the future, there's nothing to go off of.
Good
It's a
point.
risky
True.
move.
It's true. I mean, I guess the other thing would be the present because they say it's a gift, right? The present.
Mhm.
Just kidding. Bad dad
Da-da-da.
joke. Oh man, I just messed that up. That was my bad dad joke. Sorry, Pierce.
Oh, is this a segment? Bad dad joke?
No, but it should be.
Pierce, what's one thing about Gen Z that you think other generations like ours or the millennials or the boomers get wrong about you guys? What's one thing that maybe there's a stereotype or that you often hear that might be not a good representation of who your generation truly is?
I mean, I feel like there's quite a lot. The one that would come to the top of my head first is probably like, I've seen a lot of stuff written that's like, oh, Gen Z is lazy compared to earlier generations in terms of like the workforce and whatnot. And while I feel like, yeah, there can be some lazy people, I don't feel like that's everyone in Gen Z. I mean, you can say that about every generation. It has lazy people in it, but I think one of the big things that it comes down to, and I don't know if this is just my sort of perception on, I don't know how accurate it is, but I feel like Generation Z is generally more inclined to want better working conditions than other generations, like better, more of a work-life balance than maybe is traditionally accepted, like not a 40-hour work week. Maybe better pay. I don't know. I feel like that might be one of the biggest reasons why Gen Z is called lazy. They don't want to have to work the same conditions that their previous generations worked. I don't know. That's kind of how
So
it comes
do you
off
think
to...
that comes from seeing your parents or your grandparents? Like, where does that come from? Do you see your mom and dad like working our tails off and you're like, I don't need to live that way? And where does it get me? Or
I don't really know. I feel like there's just this general attitude of wanting to balance work and life more. Just wanting to not do the whole thing, which is you work and then you die on the job. That's like it. I don't think that's what people in my generation want. And yeah, I don't really know where that comes from, but I feel like it's just this general attitude that we have. We want to be able to enjoy what we do and not just have it be a grueling task that we do just to survive.
Right. Less of a cog in the machine and more meaning maybe in the work that you're doing.
Exactly. Yeah. And I guess that could
that's-
stem from kids seeing their parents have that happen. Maybe their parents weren't around as much because they had to work so hard. I mean, there are a lot of kids who end up being put in like daycare because both their parents work full-time jobs just to make ends meet. I don't know if it stems from that. That could be it, but yeah, I guess that would be my best explanation for it.
And a follow-up question for that. Do you see stability and security in a career choice? In other words, once you pick that career or job, do you think you're going to have that for the rest of your life and you won't need to work like any side hustles or other type of gigs? You can just, I'm going to get my full-time job and that'll be it for the rest of my life.
I mean, I guess it really depends on what your job is, because I know there are a lot of jobs that probably would not be able to just be that. Obviously, you couldn't work full-time in fast food and make rent. You'd have to do other things on the side. So I guess that's a factor in it. Like, if your job makes enough money to sustain you, which I feel like a lot of them don't at this point, it ends up being like you see all these people who've had jobs for years and they're trying to like start side hustles just to be able to pay for food on their table or to have a roof over their head. But I think it also comes down to like career satisfaction. Like, one thing that I try to remember is that even if you choose a career, you can still change it. It won't be easy, but if you're not enjoying what you do. If it's just some task that you have to complete, it's like an obstacle, then I don't think that it's a bad thing to want to change. Like, I'm sure there are a lot of people who are feeling like they're stuck in a career that they may not enjoy as much. But I mean, there's always an opportunity to switch it up, maybe get a different degree. I don't think that's necessary, though. Unless you're going for like some sort of specialist role, I think a lot of places will just take you if you have a bachelor's degree, not even if you have a bachelor's degree for that specific field.
Yeah, let's talk more about that, because we have talked about that at our family dinner table recently. And I know that's a big topic with us, is college or no college, degree or no degree. And so I think what your generation is doing is seeing, correct me if I'm wrong here, Pierce, seeing that maybe we don't all need college degrees. And I know that in your school, there were a lot more vocational programs that they were pushing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I think they're also trying to see, like, okay, these college degrees aren't necessary for everyone, like you just said, unless you're going to be, and we've been saying that in our family when we encourage you guys to think about college. It's like, but okay, how much do you need to spend on this degree? And are you going to be a doctor or a scientist, or something very specific? So I think, are you seeing a lot more of your friends too, maybe not necessarily just going down the college path because that's what they're supposed to do? Are they making different choices?
I think one of the biggest factors is, like you were saying, how much money do people have to pay? Because college is really, really expensive. And a lot of people aren't even guaranteed jobs, even if they get a degree. Like, there are people who have their bachelor's who are probably struggling to find a job. Like, it's not it used to be a guarantee for a job, but now it's not. Now it's kind of just become something that you are obligated to do just because that's what everyone else does. I feel like more vocational sort of schools are kind of in a similar vein. Like, I've heard from a friend that it can be really expensive to go to like some sort of specialist school where you go down like more the line of apprenticeship and whatnot. Apparently it still is expensive to do that kind of stuff. Like, I do have a couple friends who aren't pursuing a college degree. Like, one of them is trying to be an electrician. The other is maybe going some sort of like specialized engineering thing. They don't even know for themselves. They're just kind of doing whatever comes up as most convenient. One friend that I have, he takes classes at our college, but he's not a full-time student. He just takes like, I think, more classes that give you certificates, in terms of like, I think maybe welding or some sort of thing like that. I do have quite a few friends who are pursuing that less traditional path, but I would say the majority of my friends are just going to college because that's kind of what you're supposed to do. And
Well,
I
tell
don't think
everyone
that's...
what happens in our community, which is a really great program. Sorry to interrupt you. That is, they offer this, our local community college offers. Go ahead, and if you want to explain what and why I think more people are going to this program.
Yeah. I mean, there's a program called the Promise Program, and you can go to the local community college right out of high school. And if you make it into the program, then you get your first 2 years of tuition for free. Not including like summer and winter courses, but that is a great incentive for people who are looking to go into college right out of high school. I mean, that's what I did. That's what a bunch of my friends did. I think it's a super good decision because basically you're cutting your college fees in half. Instead of going to some major university, you don't have to move out. You don't have to pay any like housing fees or anything like that. It's very convenient, and I think it's a great way to incentivize people to go to college. Yeah, I think it was a good decision to do that. I wish there were more programs like that because I think that's more of what we need. Incentivizing people to want to learn for the sake of learning and bettering themselves, and not just because they have to, because that's how you get a job.
One follow-up question on that. So, Pierce, if you were getting a job, do you value your well-being in a job? Or if someone said, hey, Pierce, it's 50 hours a week, but you're going to make $200,000 a year, even though you're going to hate the job, you're going to make a lot of money. Or if they offer you, half the pay in a job where you work, maybe 30 or 40 hours a week, and it's going to be much better for your health, your mental health, and more enjoyable, would you jump for the money and say, oh, I got to make that all that money. I don't care if I like my job or not. I just want to make a lot of money. Or would you prefer a job that helps you maintain your sanity in a sense?
Hmm. I mean, I did kind of face a similar decision with trying to figure out what I wanted to major in. Because originally I went into college majoring in computer science. I thought I wanted to do like something in game design or anything like that. But I looked into it a lot more and I learned a lot about how things actually work in that industry. And from what I've seen, while you get paid well, first of all, there's no guarantee for a job because computer science as a major kind of blew up in the past couple of years. And now I think people are starting to see the downturn of that where they have too many people working in computer science. So it's a lot harder to get a job, especially with outsourcing. Not even AI, but like just overseas jobs are taking a lot of computer science jobs in the United States, from what I've heard.
Oh, is that right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Huh.
But the other thing is that with the game industry especially, there's a lot of like crunch periods, like right before you have to finish a game when it comes out. It's a lot of crunch and it's a lot of overtime. And thinking about it more, I just didn't really see myself doing that because I don't want to kill myself over a job that would net me slightly more money, but I would probably not be happy.
Mm.
And so I ended up switching my degree to sociology, and now I'm trying to pursue more of like probably therapy is my career. I think that would be a lot better for my health, well-being in general, because I feel like it would be something that I'd enjoy more. Depending on how I do, I could probably start my own practice and determine my own hours, that sort of thing. And I think that's one of the most important things is becoming your own boss, because I mean, then you get to choose how long you work for, and you don't have to be questioned by anybody. And so, to answer your question more directly, I'd probably choose the job that would be less hours, but overall less money. And I think to kind of offset that, the real solution is to just be smart with your money. I mean, it's hard with how expensive everything is. This is coming from me, one of the most frugal people ever. Like, I spend barely any money on myself. Most of the money that I spend is on, like, other people, like birthday gifts or whatnot, or, like, just buying food or gas. Like, it's not really, I don't really spend that much on myself overall. I think if you're smart with your money and, like, kind of restrain yourself from just buying, and putting your money into savings, and especially putting your money into, like, investment options, that overall will help you a lot better than if you have really poor spending habits, but you took that job that gets you a bunch more money, but you have to work a ton of hours. I feel like being money smart will help you to better achieve a work-life balance that you find desirable.
I'm so proud of you. But I totally like you're teaching your mom and dad about invest. I don't think we had this skill. And I wanted to know a couple of things. Number one, are your friends similar to you? Like, are you seeing more people in your generation look at maybe investing? And I love that you were talking about being your own boss, because I do see that in your generation, that the Gen Zers are like, I don't always want to work for someone else. I want to be my own boss. Hence, a lot of you are doing like the influencer route or the YouTuber route, right? Because you want to set your own hours and make your own decisions and not be always told what to do, which I think is great. More of an entrepreneurial side of things, but also with your financial things. So I guess the first question for me is, do your friends do the same, or are you kind of this like lone wolf out there? And didn't you take a personal finance class that kind of influenced you a little bit for that, or tell us more?
I mean, to answer your first question, I mean, I have probably one other friend that I know of who invests regularly. I mean, this guy's got he's got a pretty good paying job, and he puts most of it in like he has like a few $1,000s in like certificates of deposit and stuff like that. So he's pretty good with it. But I mean, aside from him, I don't I don't really see anyone else who does that sort of thing. I don't see that being common with my generation. Unfortunately, I do think that it's something that everyone should do, even if you are older.
I also wanted to know, like, for your friends and the people that you're around, and you're talking about more of them being entrepreneurs, do you think that's because they, don't want to work for people? They want to be their own bosses? Or is it because they're just bored in this life of being like, the worker bee for everyone else? Why do you think you guys, most of your generation, I know I'm generalizing a little bit, but why do you think that you guys are looking more towards this entrepreneurial mentality?
Well, I think that everyone kind of has that desire to be in control of their work. It's just that Gen Z, having grown up with all this technology and all these new platforms like YouTube and Instagram and TikTok, these avenues are open for them to do that. And I mean, I don't even think it's just Gen Z. I mean, it started with millennials, and then Gen Z kids watching like millennials make videos and TikToks and whatever influence them to want to do the same. I think it's a common thing that everyone has, like a common desire. It's just that not everyone knows how to do it. I mean, your generation and the generations before you didn't have these same tools to do this when you were growing up. So I'm assuming that most of you didn't know that this was possible.
Here's how do I start my own YouTube channel? Can you come in here and help Mom set it up?
Which button do I press?
Yes, we did not have YouTube and all those things. And it wasn't the easy access. If someone wanted to be creative, even, writing a book and having it published, it was not as easy. Now you can do a blog or all the different platforms that you can show your work on as an artist. It's a lot easier now, a lot easier to shoot something with your phone, upload it, editing, really simple. It's great that your generation is embracing that and then looking at an opportunity that wasn't there previously. Is there a particular trend that you see amongst yourself and your friends that you think will be remembered by future generations?
That's a really hard one. I mean, I feel like our generation is still so new that I can't really say what that is yet. I mean, I think it'll take more time to actually know what that impact will be. I think it will probably be along the lines of being more of like a progressive change. Because one thing I do think that I've seen a lot is that I think this is just in general, younger people are more progressive, but I feel like Gen Z especially is very progressive. That's my hope, at least. There's still a lot of more right-leaning people who are in my generation, obviously, but I feel like there's been a general shift to more progressive thought processes among my generation. Even millennials too, I feel like they've also had that change, but I feel like it just becomes more progressive as it goes on, but I could be wrong.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think it's becoming more progressive? Is there something that's instigating that?
I don't really know, to be honest. And I will say I can't speak on it all, having grown up in the backyard of one of the most progressive cities in the entire United States. I am very biased with like the people who I associate with and whatnot. Like, so I could be totally wrong. I feel like it is sort of a similar thing to people wanting to have more control over their work life. Just, I think, seeing the experiences that their parents had and maybe some of the treatment by their parents. Like a lot of people my age who are part of the LGBTQ plus crowd who are mistreated by their parents for who they want to be or who they are. I feel like that kind of fuels wanting to not be like them and wanting to change more for the better. That's kind of how I see it.
Yeah, let's talk more about that, because I feel like your generation, even more so than millennials, again, you can chime in on this, that you guys are being a lot more open about things like the LGBTQ plus and finding your way in that and not just going under the social norms that your parents had. And I hope being able to speak out a little bit more freely to parents, but you're seeing that in some of your friends, right? Where they're not able to because the parents are a little bit more conservative or stuck in their ways from their generation. But I wanted to hear more from you about your experiences with your friends, like the the social part of that, I mean, I think it's beautiful. You guys are now being much more open to it and accepting, whereas in our time it was still not as accepted and we weren't as open. But do you feel like Gen Z, you guys are, if it weren't for the parents getting in the way, that people can just be who they are? And
Yeah, I mean, I still feel like there are people who aren't as accepting of it, but I mean, I think it's just because times have changed and it's become more accepted. Gen Z and I don't even know if millennials would have the same experience, but I feel like Gen Z is kind of like one of the first to be able to embrace that sort of identity at a younger age. I mean, I've heard you and I've heard other parents talking about like kids in like junior high, like kind of toying with the idea of, oh, am I gay? Am I this, that, or what? I feel like that's kind of just a normal thing of discovering who someone is. And even if it doesn't stick as it goes on, I think it's still good for people to be able to experience that and to see, like, to try it out. It's not a bad thing to, even if they change their mind and they're like, oh, I'm not really for this. I feel like it's
yeah,
good for them to experience it.
yeah. And I want to talk about that just a little bit because we had in our own house, we did talk about, we're not afraid to get controversial here, but I was talking to my kids a lot about this in that junior high stage where suddenly everyone was gay. And I have a lot of gay friends. So I was like, was it trendy? Is that why some people were jumping on the bandwagon? Because it was trendy? And because I was like, I think that person has always liked, but I like to hear from you, Pierce, and you kind of, you and your sister kind of educated me a little bit more like, hey, no, I mean, maybe they're just feeling it out and just seeing where it is. Because I was like, I didn't want to have them jump on this bandwagon and then like, because I know that my friends who are gay, like they always knew, but that may not be the case for everyone. So I appreciated your feedback on that. Like that, hey, maybe they're just exploring and that's okay. That's age appropriate, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think it is mostly just playing with the idea, and I don't even think you need to be fully sure about what you are. Like, there are people that I know who are bisexual, who are kind of queer, but not really. Like, they don't really they aren't really a huge fan of that, but they kind of like the idea of it. Like, it's not exactly set in stone. It's kind of just how they're feeling in the moment. Like, I feel like it's not one thing or the other. Like, are they gay or are they not gay? It's kind of more of like on a scale, like how much are they willing to want to like try out and sort of experiment with. I don't think that it was ever really a trend to be gay. Knowing the community that me and my sister went to junior high in, I'm sure there were a lot of bigoted people in that crowd, so I don't think it would have been really trendy. I mean, I remember in junior high being called gay was an insult still. I do remember that, so I don't think that it was necessarily a trend. I feel like junior high is kind of the place where you start to experience more of that and start to meet more people who are like that. Like, I think that junior high was the first year that I met someone who was trans. I had never met anyone like that before. I feel like it's kind of where you start to get your eyes open to this whole world of possibilities. And for some people, it's just giving them the eye opener to be like, oh, maybe I might like this.
Yeah. And thank you for educating us, your parents or the people around us, because I, fully support it. You know that. I just wanted to make sure that these people were not just doing this because everyone else was, which you guys totally educated me on, and I appreciate that. And one last follow-up question on this is from me is, do you see a lot of your friends' parents, are they open and accepting to their children being possibly, something that maybe is anything but straight? Do you see other parents being open?
I feel like I don't know. It really depends. I do have quite a few friends who haven't even told their parents about
Mm.
how they really are. So I don't think that it's necessarily that they're all accepting. Some of them are. I don't think that all of them are like hateful. I think it's more of like they tolerate it, but they don't want their kids to be that way. But I don't really know because I don't know all my friends' parents that well. So
Yeah, no, I meant like from the perspective
yeah.
of them talking to you about their parents being
Oh,
accepting and open.
yeah, I mean, I feel like there's not really any more or less than there were before. It's kind of just
Okay.
like a mixed bag. It depends on who it is.
Okay, maybe this is because and hopefully there's a cultural shift happening
Hmm.
in terms of the stigma associated with it, and hopefully with your generation, and now that we live in this information age of being able to access information and see so many things differently, we're no longer just kept with these blinders on of like, this is your reality and it's only this, and people are only heterosexual. Now you're able to see so much more and have access to so much more information that hopefully, yeah, your generation is waking up and saying, oh, wait, oh, wow, learning about different cultures of the world more easily with accessible information, and learning about people being gay or straight or whatever they choose, and being more hopefully respectful of those choices and not just being judgmental of others and saying, oh, well, hey, in this country they do things this way, and our country they do it our way, and doesn't mean our way is the right way or that it's better. Maybe we need to open up a little more and look at those other places. And I know, Pierce, you had mentioned for you, like traveling abroad is something that you desire to do in your future. What are your thoughts on other countries compared to our country?
Um, that's a very broad question. I mean, I'd say that it depends on what country you're talking about. I do feel like because the United States is the world power, a lot of countries, especially Western European countries, tend to follow in the same footsteps of the United States. Like in terms of like how they run their economy, how they run their politics. It's all very similar, I'd say. For example, after the United States has it had I'd say a huge jump to the right with the election of our current president. God bless his soul, let me just say. Uh, uh, I feel like there's
Go
kind of
ahead,
been
get on your
there's
soapbox. Let's hear it.
well, I'm not going to go too far into depth, but I feel like there's been a similar trend in a lot of European countries, very xenophobic and anti-immigration people, let's just say it, very racist people have come into power in Europe. I would say that the majority of Western European countries are super racist and super not accepting of other people. Um, I'd say in terms of culture, they're about as accepting as us, if not in some places worse. Um,
Mm.
I in terms of like LGBTQ, that's something I can't speak of on as much because I'm not as familiar with how it is in other countries. Um,
Mhm.
I do know that it is a struggle still, like especially in the UK. They are very, very anti-trans, from what I've heard.
Uh,
It's yeah, I mean, socially, it's not much better than the United States, but in some regards, I feel like economically, it's definitely a lot better in Europe, from what I'd say. I mean, a lot of European countries don't have the mountains of debt that we have. They're not in charge of like the whole world economy. They can kind of, do their own thing. Like places like a lot of Nordic countries are some that I think are among the best in the world to live in because they tend to focus more on welfare than on just the government. And I don't think they're perfect. Like there's still a lot of issues, like namely socially, but also economically. It's not perfect there, but I will say it's about the best that I think you can get in probably the whole world. Um,
Mm.
like take for example, let's say like Denmark. Denmark is a really good country because they focus a lot on free healthcare, fair wages for their workers. Like if you work at a McDonald's in Denmark, you're pretty set. And if you work at a McDonald's in like, I don't know, Alabama, you're not going to have a house. You're not going to have an apartment. You're going to, yeah.
Wow, yeah.
And
But Denmark, what do
I
they?
mean,
How do like? What do you say? Like they make as much as somebody who works like in a corporate job there
I don't know
at
for sure,
McDonald's?
but they do make a lot more money than you would if you worked in the United States. Like there's a better
Wow.
balance between the cost of living and how much you get paid. And I think that's also offset by lower, not necessarily free healthcare costs. Um, I learned pretty recently that a lot of those countries don't actually have free healthcare. It's very inexpensive healthcare. Like, this is kind of a different example, but in Sweden, I think you can get most dental procedures done for like $15 without insurance.
Wow, that speaks to
From what I've
us.
heard.
We
I could
need
be
cheap
that
dental.
Yeah.
I could totally be wrong, and it could have changed since I heard that fact, but I mean that's just what I've heard. And also, I mean, schooling is also very inexpensive, if not free. And another thing I'd say about Denmark, that is different from the other Nordic countries is their, at least in like the capital city of Copenhagen, they have a lot of biking infrastructure, which makes their city a lot livable than like an American city where you have to drive everywhere. Um, but that's just a brief example. I think there's a lot more that I could go into, but I think those are probably examples of countries being better than the United States without having a higher GDP or even a higher GDP per capita, because I feel like those aren't really accurate measures of like how a country's doing. Because you can have a rising GDP like in the United States, but still have people who can't afford to feed or clothe themselves.
True.
Oh, yeah, it's absolutely true with the public transportation thing. Unfortunately, it's not that great in this country. And yeah, they're finally building a speed train to Vegas, but we'll see if that happens. Hopefully
Never gonna
it's
happen.
in progress.
They're not gonna finish that thing.
Well, Pierce,
Ugh.
this I know you have a lot to say about this topic. And so this leads to we have a segment in the Sibling Soapbox podcast called da 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 your soapbox drop.
Soapbox drop!
And we would love to hear from you today, listeners and people who are watching. We always like to get our guests and all of you on the soapbox so that you are free to speak your minds as well. So, Pierce, today it is your turn to jump on the soapbox. Give us your soapbox drop. We're talking about specifically mass transportation, and you have a lot to say
Okay.
about it. Are you ready?
All right, yeah. Is there like
Okay.
a timer or something? Or
I mean, 30 seconds to a minute.
do you have like a little thing that you can tip over and the sand goes in? A little hourglass?
Oh, an hourglass would have been a good
should get
idea. All right, I do have a timer. So will that help you if we do the
Okay,
timer? No,
sure,
no
yeah,
pressure.
why not?
But we want it. We really like. Again, you're our guest today, and you're speaking
Okay.
from your perspective and your generation, and we really want to hear and we like what you're saying. So, are you ready?
All right, yeah.
And go.
So I guess the best place to start would be the United States is horrible when it comes to public transportation in that we have barely any. I mean, we rely heavily on car infrastructure because that's not even how our cities were built. LA used to have one of the most advanced tram systems, which I'd say trams are probably the best form of public transportation because it's all surface level. It makes cities more walkable because you can just walk straight onto the tram and walk right off at the next part of the city where you need to go to. That is optimally the best form of public transportation. LA used to have one of the most advanced systems of trams in the entire world, but they were all destroyed because these car companies came in and incentivized the city to focus more on car infrastructure. And that's why LA is such a traffic shithole now, where you can't get anywhere. Yes, they do have some trains, and they aren't the worst, but compared to what European countries have, it's nothing. Like, in places like Amsterdam, or I'd say, yeah, Copenhagen, Berlin, all these huge European cities are so easy to access without a car because they make those cities walkable in that they don't have these huge, sprawling suburbs that you have to drive like 50 miles to get through. It's all compact without being too compact, and they have viable public transport that goes where people need it to take them. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much it.
I love it. It's
Thank
true.
you for sharing.
It's so true.
We love your soapbox drop. And also remember, to all of you, you can always record your own soapbox drop either on your social media or wherever you want to. And then you can hashtag soapbox drop or tag us, the Sibling Soapbox, anywhere on our social media, or even better, visit our website, www.thesiblingsoapbox.com, and you can leave us a voice message. We would love to hear more from you, just like we heard from Pierce. What do you feel strongly about? Your 30-second to 1 minute drop on what your thoughts are. Okay, so thank you, Pierce, for that. And we always appreciate, hearing from especially your generation. I wanted to follow up by asking you a question. How do you think your generation, what is a positive impact and legacy that you are already leaving for future generations that you're maybe doing a little differently than Gen X and boomers and millennials?
I think one of the biggest ones that comes to mind is climate activism. Because Gen Z is one of the newest generations, it's also one of the first generations to start experiencing the existential issue of our planet being destroyed by big companies and the government and all these people who don't care. You've got people like Greta Thunberg, who are some of the most influential people in the fight for climate activism. I feel like other generations don't have a stake in it as much as we do, because they won't be around when the planet goes to shit. And with millennials, a lot of what I've seen is that they kind of just feel like there's nothing that they can do. They're just kind of giving up, oh no, we're doomed, that sort of thing. I feel like there aren't as many people who are trying to be active again and trying to make a better impact, and they're just kind of giving up. I feel like our generation is not as willing to do that because it's our future that's being affected. I can understand if other people from other generations feel like, oh yeah, this is the right thing to do, but they won't ever have that same feeling that my generation and the generations that will come after my generation have towards climate change, because it is an impending issue that we will have to deal with now, not later. That's probably the biggest thing.
Maybe if those other generations weren't so selfish and they actually cared, because as a parent, and as an uncle, I think of your generation and my son's generation. Yeah, we can't leave a planet that's like leaving a huge trash pile outside your house and then you inherit the house from me when you get older. It's no, I want it to be nice. I want it to be a good place. And for those people who have disregarded the environment and just said, oh, whatever, it'll figure itself out, let them clean it up later, I think that's very selfish.
Yeah, well, I don't even think it's the individual people from those generations who are at fault. I don't think they did as much to speak up about it, but most of it is just the behavior of big companies like these huge oil companies that'll totally destroy ecosystems after an accidental spill and then trying to cover it up instead of actually fixing the issue. You've got companies that rely on fossil fuels. If you compare the scale to which, I don't know, Lay's has carbon emissions, that's nothing compared to how much you recycle or how much water you save or anything like that. Realistically, a person does not have the same effect that an entire corporation has on the environment.
Yes.
So I don't think that people and their individual decisions whether or not to compost is an effect on why our climate is the way it is. These huge companies in, I believe it was the 1920s, or it was in the 1920s or sometime after that. This was when scientists started to first observe possible effects. And what these big companies did is they paid researchers to make false reports that climate change would have no effect. And that has perpetuated itself into today, where people from your generation and the ones before it aren't as willing to believe that it's an issue because they've been lied to by people in power. And I don't blame the people for that. I blame those who are in charge. I think that blaming people for being the reason why our planet is hurting, the whole argument of like, oh, all humanity is bad, that we always destroy the planet. That's not everyone. That's just the people who happen to have gone into power.
Thank you, son.
And question-
Thank you. You're so smart. Thank you.
Very insightful, Pierce. A question related to that: where do you go for your news? What are your news sources? Do you go online? Do you have, in the past it was always legacy media. You'd turn on, you had a few channels, but now with all the ability to search different places online, where do you get your news from?
I mean, a lot of it is just regular news sources, like articles online. I think the main thing is you just have to kind of comb through what they're actually saying and definitely look at more than one place, because as much as I think that the news doesn't really change whether or not you believe one thing or the other, a lot of news sites do perpetuate false narratives in terms of issues that if you were to watch the news in like another country, one that isn't necessarily part of like the whole Western country, like whatever crap that is, like that whole crowd, I feel like you get some stuff that is a lot more accurate. I won't go into any specifics, but I do think that you have to be careful with what you are reading, and you have to definitely cross-check it. I mean, other places I get it, I watch people on YouTube who will sometimes break down like what's going on and sort of give their perspective on it. That's a lot where I get my stuff. I also just read the news regularly and kind of go in with a critical mind and not just taking it all without a grain of salt.
Very smart. Very smart. Proud of you for that, Pierce.
Thank you.
And that leads me to another question for you, because you talked about sort of like cross-referencing or fact-checking. I wanted to talk to you today about AI and specifically ChatGPT, because, I've been like, oh, ChatGPT, it can teach me so much. Oh my gosh, I put in this and it gives me this recipe and and you guys are always like, you need to make sure that it's legit and fact check it. So I feel like you guys are really the first generation, even more than millennials, to be, AI and ChatGPT, they are in your everyday, especially in school, right? Like school now, they're running your papers through some sort of AI detection system. So I wanted to ask you, what are your thoughts on AI? And do you feel like it's a good tool? Do you feel like it's reliable? Do you feel like this is the future and we're all just going to be at the mercy of the robots? Or what do you feel about it? How do you feel about it?
I think I'll start with the last thing. I don't think that AI is going to take over at all. I mean, if you've seen ChatGPT, yeah, it can give you a lot of information, but a lot of the time it can be kind of stupid. I'm not going to lie. And this will be the thing that gets me off by the robots first when they do take over eventually.
Bye, Pierce.
I mean, if you ask ChatGPT for something, its entire purpose is it will literally try its best to give you an answer. Not the correct one, but one that is satisfactory. So, if you ask it a question, sometimes it will just make stuff up, literally. If it doesn't know what you're talking about, a lot of the time it will just make crap up. And that's the one thing I think that people have to be careful of. Also, I do know that ChatGPT is horrible for math. It cannot do math for the life of it at all. Somehow it just can't. Like, I've asked it before, like, oh, keep track of all these numbers and make sure they add up to 10,000. And then it'll always go, like, way above or way below 10,000 and say, oh, this plus this plus this plus this plus this is 10,000 when it's, like, 80,000. It's not accurate at all. Surprisingly. You'd think that it would be good at math, but it's not. I'd say that probably one of the best applications is for programming and coding. Like, if you tell it what you want, it will literally spit out the exact code that you need. And then you can, if you understand how to implement that and then fix any errors that might occur, you can just ask it to like tweak stuff and then it will code for you. I think that's probably one of the easiest applications for it. In terms of like reading and writing, I only use it to check stuff like grammar and whatnot, but even then it's not always correct.
Okay, you're not using it to write your papers, right?
No, because that's stupid. The way it writes is so iconic. You can tell that it's an AI. If you've seen enough AI, you can probably tell. It's just so generic and always like, I guess, like happy all the time. That's kind of like a great way to tell whether or not you're reading something that's been written by AI. But in terms of like general facts, I'd say just use Google. You're not going to get anything more from ChatGPT than you are from Google. I mean, even Google has the AI summary thing, which sometimes just like will spit out stuff and then it'll like have a link, but other times it'll just say stuff and not even provide a link at all. I mean, what these AIs are doing is they're just scraping the entire internet for information. And a lot of the time it just, like I said before, will just make stuff up or it will give inaccurate information. So I'd say definitely avoid it for finding facts. Now, if you want to find like articles, I haven't tried it, but I think that would probably be the best application for it. I think it's better used as a tool rather than like a direct thing that you use, if that makes sense. No, let me rephrase that. It's better to be used as like a side thing rather than a full-on tool that you use all the time, because it does make mistakes, and I don't know if it'll become more advanced in the future. I mean, a lot of stuff has come very far, like with AI videos, AI voice things, AI art, which I still think you can tell what it is. I mean, you can always tell that it's like so overly saturated, and but
you
even
can always
now,
tell
it's
by the
kinda,
hands, right? In art, it always
not
gets
as much
the hands
anymore.
wrong. Oh, is it getting
It's
better?
gotten better with that, yeah. But I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. But having seen a lot of AI art and especially a lot of like AI videos, you can usually tell because it's so detailed and over the top. It's unrealistic. Like it's almost like uncannily similar. But it's not
someday this
exactly.
podcast, like even this podcast, will just be like, "Hey, AI, go ahead and make us the Sibling Soapbox, and this is how we look, and this is our
Oh,
guest
you
of the
could
day."
totally
Like
do that now.
it's gonna
You could totally
happen.
do that now. All you need is you need to get ChatGPT to write the script. Go to what is that? Websites to find like AI voices to read the script. Then you just need to go to a website where you can make an AI video for the podcast. It will totally do all that for you. You can do that now, and that's a little scary. But I mean, I think that people can generally tell when something's AI. And I would say that the majority of people don't like it when what they're watching is just pure AI slop. Like people recognize it and people don't like it. Unless it's being used for irony. I see a lot of memes and like jokes that are used with AI videos and stuff, because it's a good medium for expressing yourself without actually being able to like find stuff to turn into memes. You can just make your own thing. That's become very common in like social media, like Instagram or TikTok and whatnot.
Have either of you ever asked ChatGPT to list its sources when it gives you information?
No, I have not.
I have, and it will give me links and I can go and check those sources. I mean, I've used it honestly where I found it really beneficial was when I get like medical tests, blood tests back, and they just spew out these numbers and you're like, what do these mean? And the doctor's not explaining it. And you can copy and paste and put it into ChatGPT and ask it to interpret, and it will interpret everything. And then you can ask for sources or, how do I, and go and double check. I don't always double check though, so I guess now I need to.
I mean, that's the hard thing. It takes a lot of time to research and double check things. I mean, I don't always do it either. It just takes a lot of time.
Convenience.
Wait, do you,
Depends on
Tristan?
how much you
do
care
you
about it.
ask it for its sources?
I don't use it enough yet to need that.
You said yet though, so
Yet.
he's got something planned.
shall
He's
see.
doing something.
All right. Well, I want to break this up a little bit. And Pierce, this is just something that we came up with, and we want to have a little fun with you, if that's okay, because you've been great. It's been so wonderful to have you on today. And I am a proud mom, but also, I respect you so much as a young man. So thank you for bringing all of these amazing ideas about, the Gen Zers. But we want to play a little game with you. Are you ready for it? Okay. We're going to call this the Gen Z Slang Game. Okay. So.
Okay.
And here's what it is. For people like your uncle and I, the Gen Xers or maybe the boomers, we're going to bring up, each of us are going to bring up one of what we feel is a slang word from your generation.
Okay.
And I would like you to either tell us if it's tolerable, for us to use it for these older generations, or terrible. Okay.
Okay.
So that's going to be your response.
Do I have to explain what it means at all?
I mean, if you'd like to, maybe that would help.
Okay. If you have any that you don't know, then just tell me and I'll try and explain it.
Might be all of them, but some of them,
Okay.
your mom. I'm on social media, and there's some of these that I use, and then I'm like, oh God, do my kids, are they going to say that? No, just don't. So that's
Okay.
this is gonna be your opportunity to say like tolerable, like go ahead, or terrible, don't do it.
All
yeah.
right.
All right.
Sounds
so
good.
Tristan, you in on
Sounds
this too?
sus. Sounds really sus.
No. No.
I can't say that.
No.
You're supposed to say terrible. All right, so here comes the first one. Are you ready?
Okay.
Bet. Tolerable or terrible? For your mom or your uncle to use.
Can I hear both of you use it in a sentence? That will depend on my verdict.
Oh, bet.
Bet.
Okay, that may be.
Mom, you can use these terms. Bet.
No. I'd have to say
Terrible?
not tolerable.
Well, isn't it more of a, that's more of
Terrible.
a response to something, right? Like,
Yeah, you'd say
someone
like, I
says-
bet. Tristan kind of maybe had it.
Okay.
You did not.
And
No
this
offense.
is so just generally, like, okay, can
Generally-
our generation use it or not? Like, use it or
I'd
don't?
say no. I'd say no.
So terrible. Okay.
Terrible.
Tristan, do you have one?
you got that Riz, Pierce. You got that
Hell no.
Riz.
Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. Hell no.
Terrible?
No. Terrible. I don't even think many people say that now. That's the thing. A lot of slang gets phased out very, very soon.
Well, that's why we
Like-
need to know.
Would you consider all of these like micro trends?
Kind of.
Ooh.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of them stick around. Some of them don't. Like, I feel like a lot of people still say bet. Not as many say like sus or Riz. I feel like those are kind of on their way out.
Okay. What about slay? Terrible or tolerable?
Tolerable, actually. I will say.
Oh!
That's not. I don't care about that. If you
Slay,
say
girl.
it, you have to say it like in a girly voice. You have to be all.
Can you
girly
give us an
pop.
example?
I can't because I'm not girly pop enough. You know, I'm not just a girl. You know.
Oh, okay. Slay.
Sure, yeah. Or you say like slay girly or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Go off, queen, whatnot.
That's bussin'.
Bussin'. Yeah, that's a good one. Bussin'.
No, no one uses.
Terrible.
Well, okay, you can only use bussin' from what I've, in my view. I think you should only use bussin' if you're talking about food. That is like
Food.
if like oh this shit bussin'.
Oh, not like I'm at a restaurant and I hope he's bussing my food pretty soon.
No.
to get
I
ready.
don't know. I don't even know where it comes from, but I think it's delicious. I'm pretty sure.
Not like-
Okay.
That gyat's bussin'. No.
That would probably get you a slap in the face if you said that.
Oh.
All right. I
'Cause
got another one.
What you just said is that someone has a delicious ass. That's pretty much what you just said. I'm just gonna say it right now. That's
Okay, Tristan.
Wow. Wow.
What is your uncle doing?
I know, horrible.
Okay, I have another one.
Okay.
All right, terrible or tolerable? I can
Okay.
use it or not because, again, in the social media game here, it's giving blank.
Yeah, you can use that. That's fine.
Tolerable?
Tolerable, yeah.
Okay.
I want to hear Tristan use it in a sentence.
Wait, which one?
It's giving
It's giving.
blank. It's giving blank. Like right now, it's giving confused. It's giving puzzled. Maybe even
Given
perplexed.
nostalgia?
Sure, yeah, that works.
It's giving lost.
It's giving, huh?
Okay, but we
That's
can
a
use
tough
it.
one.
Yeah, that's fine. That one's fine.
Did I slay it?
Sure, you
Oh,
slay
I
it.
slayed it.
That's not really how you use it, though.
Yeah,
Some of
this
these-
is hard.
Some of these terms, like slay and it's giving, those are for the girls.
Okay,
Oh,
so I can use it, but Uncle Tristan
You
cannot.
can use it.
Specific.
He has to say it in a girly voice.
Okay.
Again,
do you want
he
to
has
try
to
that,
say
Tristan?
it girly pop. It's giving.
So slay.
You don't say it's so slay. You just say slay.
Oh wait,
You just say
oh,
like slay.
that's
Like
slay.
if one of your no, you don't even say that's slay. You just say slay. Like if one of your girly friends does something good, you say slay.
slay.
Sure, yeah.
Is that better?
It's fine. Yeah,
I
that's
gotta
fine.
work on this. I gotta practice.
Well, that's why
You
we're
don't
playing
have
the
to.
game. All right, so I have another one. This one I
Okay.
just heard recently, and you and your sister taught me this one. So, is it tolerable or terrible for me to say touch grass?
Oh yeah, that's tolerable. That's just an
Yeah.
insult. Yeah, that's not really. I don't even think that's like recent slang. That's probably like from the early 2010s. Like it's been around for a while. It's just
Okay,
an
but what
insult
does it
for
mean?
people. It's an insult for people who stay inside gaming all day, like World of Warcraft players. You just tell them to go
Oh.
outside and touch grass because they
It's
clearly
like
have not for a
earthing
while.
and grounding.
I was gonna say, I think it sounds like earthing, Heather. That earthing thing you were talking about.
Oh my god!
Sure.
We're making a correlation. We're connecting the dots from the generation.
That works.
Earthing, touch grass.
Or just go outside.
Okay. I do have one more question for you, Pierce, before we
Okay.
close out here. Where do you see yourself in 10 years? And then where do you see yourself in 50 years?
Probably remembering that you asked me this question.
Where do you hope to be in 10 years?
I mean, I don't really know. I'd probably say just somewhere I'm happy with my life and where I feel more fulfilled. And yeah, I think that would be my best response. I can't really give specifics because I don't know much about where I'm going, but we'll see.
That's a great answer. And what about, say, when you're grandpa's age? Then
Well,
a
I
little
hope
bit
I'm not
differently?
dead by then. But yeah, I'd say I'd like to be in a similar place where he is, like pretty good amount of money saved up, able to relax more. Yeah, I'd say that would be desirable.
Okay. Nice. I like it. I like
Love it. Anything else that you want to tell our listeners about your generation that you would like anyone to know?
We're better than millennials, and we're actually the best generation out of everyone. This whole thing has been a ruse. That was my whole point of coming on, just to prove that we're the best and that no one else is better than us. Yeah.
I sincerely hope so, because we need a better generation than what's been here previously. I'm counting on Gen Z to save me. I'm counting on Gen Z.
Yeah,
And
let's
to
go
save
Gen
me,
Z.
my
You
son
might
who's
need
A.
Gen Alpha too.
Okay,
Alpha's
that would
coming
be
up right behind you.
your
They want your
cousin.
leadership.
Love it. Ah, well, Pierce, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, of
And we're
course.
so happy that you came and were a guest. And remember, everybody, like, subscribe, comment. We want to hear back from you. So we appreciate your support always. So make sure that you are, what's that thing? The bell and the...
Ringing the bell.
Yeah,
ring
subscribe.
ding ding.
Ring-a-ding-ding. Anyone else out there from Gen Z want to comment, or the millennials, or any other generations? Let's hear your perspective on this next generation coming up that's hopefully going to save the planet, and they're the best, so they'll make life better for all of us and for the coming generations for sure. Hey,
Proud
do
of
we
you.
still dance? Are we dancing when we have a guest on, Heather?
What do you
we
mean dance?
Yes, Pierce.
We do this thing. It's called, Heather, your mom does this dance out thing.
What?
Do you still do that?
Don't know if you know that your mom is a dancer, but if you not watched our
No.
episodes, son. At the end of every episode, though, we like to wrap things up with doing a little dance. So I chose a song that I think you might like today. And, you just do what you feel. And those people out there, you just do what you feel, because it's just a nice way to end things. And let's do it, shall we? You just go. There's no pressure here. You just do what feels right. Here we go.
Come on, Pierce. Is he dancing, Heather? Okay. Oh, where's mom go?
Where'd she go?
Something mom does. Just kind of go with it. Just be like, yeah, okay.
I don't dance.
We're doing it.
What the hell?
Oh! Gotta dance, kid. Come on, guys. Sibling Soapbox Podcast. Woo! Thanks, everyone. joining us.
I
Pierce,
don't know
thank
what
you
the
so
heck
much.
just happened. Thank you for
coming on
having
as a
me on.
guest. You're amazing.
Thank
we
you.
love you, Gen Z. Get bored, just dance.
Thanks,
Good
Pierce.
for the soul.
No problem.
We love you, and thank you everybody for joining us today.
Peace
That
out.
was cool.
It's kind of fun, right?
Sure.
Next time I visit, I'm dancing with you.
Yes, Uncle Tristan.
Yay! Thanks, Pierce. That was awesome.
Thank you, Pierce. I love you.
Love you too.
Your mom's very proud.
The Sibling Soapbox Podcast.